going to see about application development in IoT and embedded systems. First, let us see about design process in embedded system. So, in design process of an embedded system, the things which we have to concentrate are, first one is abstraction. Abstraction is nothing but we have to abstract the problem of the embedded system which we are going to design. And second one is the software and hardware. We should be aware about the software and hardware which we are going to use in the design process of the embedded system. Additional functional properties. So, if any additional properties are required, we can just embed it into the IoT system or the embedded system which we are going to design. Modular design, nothing but this design help for the reuse of the system which we are developing. Mapping is associated with the softwares which we are using in the embedded system. User interface design, this says about how flexible, how customized the design is for the user. Then next one is design metrics in the embedded system. So the features, the quantities or the parameters which play a main role in design metric of an embedded system are cost of the embedded system which we are going to design, size, the compactness of the embedded system, performance of the embedded system, that means its efficiency, how much the system is efficient, power consumption of the embedded system, how much it is flexible about its usage of the embedded system, maintainability of the system, time to market, that means the customization of the embedded system. Steps in the design process are requirements, specifications, architecture, components, and system integration. So this design process steps can be either it can be followed top-down design or bottom-up design. So let us see about the first step in the design process is requirements. There are two types of requirements. One is functional requirement and the second one is non-functional requirement. In functional requirement, the output of the output is a function of an input. So the output depends upon the input which we are giving to the embedded system. Non-functional requirements are nothing but performance, that is time required to compute the output, how much time which we are required to get the output of the system which we are designing, cost of the system design, size, compactness of the system which we have designed, its weight, power consumption of the system, reliability. So these are about the non-functional requirements of the embedded system which we are designing. Next come to the architecture of the embedded system. So we should be aware about the blocks involved in the architecture. For example, let us consider GPS moving map block diagram. So in this, what are the blocks which we need are GPS receiver, search engine where we have to locate database to access the data, user interface to communicate with the users, and finally the display of the output. Next comes the challenges in the embedded system which we are going to design. How much the hardware we need, how big the CPU or memory which we require, how do we meet our deadlines, faster hardware or software, how do we minimize the power which we are using, which will be used in our embedded system, turn off unnecessary logic and reduce memory access. So these are the challenges which we face in designing an embedded system. What are the steps involved to develop an IoT application are, first we have to define the requirement of the IoT application. We have to choose the right hardware and then right connectivity protocol. Then next we have to select the right platform for the system. So these are about the architecture and design process of an embedded system. Thank you.